Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Sloha number 11. Hare Guna Shipta Madir Bhagavan Pada Rayanehi Adyahan Mahat Akyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. Translation. Srila Sukadeva Goswami, son of Srila Vyasadeva, was not only transcendently powerful, he was also very dear to the devotees of the Lord. Thus, he underwent the study of this great narration, Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. According to Bhakti Vaibhav Purana, Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul even within the womb of his mother. Srila Vyasadeva knew that the child, after his birth, would not stay at home. Therefore, Vyasadeva impressed upon him the synopsis of the Bhagavatam, so that the child could be made attached to the transcendental activities of the Lord. After his birth, the child was still more educated in the subject of the Bhagavatam by recitation of the actual poems. The idea is that generally the liberated souls are attached to the feature of impersonal Brahman with a monistic view of becoming one with the Supreme Whole. But the association of pure devotees like Vyasadeva, even the liberated soul becomes attracted to the transcendental qualities of the Lord. By the mercy of Sri Narada, Srila Vyasadeva was able to narrate the great epic of Srimad Bhagavatam, and by the mercy of Vyasadeva, Srila Sukadeva Goswami was able to grasp the import. The transcendental qualities of the Lord are so attractive that Srila Sukadeva Goswami became detached from being completely absorbed in impersonal Brahman and positively took up the personal activity of the Lord. Practically, he was thrown from the impersonal conception of the Absolute, thinking within himself that he had simply wasted so much time in devoting himself to the impersonal feature of the Supreme. Or, in other words, he realized the more transcendental bliss with the personal feature than the impersonal. And from that time, not only did he himself become very dear to the Vishnu Janas or the devotees of the Lord, but also the Vishnu Janas become very dear to the devotees of the Lord who do not wish to kill the individuality of the living entities, who desire to become personal servitors of the Lord, do not very much like the impersonalists. And similarly, the impersonalists who desire to become one with the Supreme are unable to evaluate the devotees of the Lord. Thus, from time immemorial, these two transcendental pilgrims have sometimes been competitors. In other words, each of them likes to keep separate from the other because of the ultimate personal and impersonal relationship. Therefore, it appears that Srila Sukadeva Goswami also had no liking for the devotees. But since he himself a saturated devotee, he desired always the transcendental association of the Vishnu Janas, and the Vishnu Janas also liked his association, since he became personal Bhagavatam. Thus, both the son and the father were completely cognizant of transcendental knowledge in Brahman, and afterwards both of them become absorbed in the personal features of the Supreme Lord. The question as to how Sukadeva Goswami was attracted by the narration of the Bhagavatam is thus completely answered by this sloka. Sloka 12. Parikshito the Rajarishe Janma Karma Vilapanam Samastam Samastam Panduputranam Pakshaye Krishna Kadodayam. Translation: Shuddha Goswami thus addressed the rishis headed by the Sanaka. Now I shall begin the transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna on topics of the birth, activities, and deliverance of King Parishit, the sage amongst the kings, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu. Lord Krishna purport: Lord Krishna is so kind to the fallen soul that he personally incarnates himself among us, the different kinds of living entities, and takes part with them in daily activities. Any historical fact, old or new, which has connection with the activities of the Lord is to be understood as a transcendental narration of the Lord. Without Krishna, all the supplementary literature like the Puranas and Mahabharata are simply stories or historical facts. But with Krishna, they become transcendental. And when we hear of them, we at once become transcendently related with the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is also a Purana, but the special significance of this Purana is that the activities of the Lord are central and not just supplementary historical facts. Srimad Bhagavatam is thus recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the spotless Purana. There is a class of less intelligent devotees of the Bhagavata Purana who desire to release at once the activities of the Lord narrated in the 10th canto without first understanding the primary canto. They are under the false impression that the other cantos are not concerned with Krishna, and thus more foolishly than intelligently they take to the reading of the 10th canto. These readers are specifically told herein that the other cantos of the Bhagavatam are as important as the 10th canto. No one should try to go into the matters of the 10th canto without having thoroughly understood the purport of the other 9 cantos. Krishna and his fair devotees like the Pandavas are on the same plane. Krishna is not without his devotees of all the rasas, and the pure devotees like the Pandavas are not without Krishna. The devotees and the Lord are interlinked and they cannot be separated. Therefore, talks about them are all Krishna Kada or topics of the Lord. Next, 13 and 14. Yada nirde kaurava srinjayanam vireshvado virakadim kadeshu virukodara vitto kadabhimarsha Noru Tande Dhritarashtraputre Pardu Priyam Tranir Idi Samaspashyan Krishna Sudanam Swapadam Shiramsi Ubakarat Vipariyam Yevatasya Chukusprisam Karma Vikaryandi. Translation: when the respective warriors of the both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhivasena, the son of Dronacharya, Aswatthama beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered them as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. But transcendental topics of the activities of the Lord Sri Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam begin from the end of the battle at Kurukshetra, where the Lord himself spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendental topics of the Lord Krishna. The Gita is Krishna Kada and the topics of Krishna because it is spoken by the Lord, and the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Kada because it is spoken about the Lord. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kadas by his order. Lord Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the garb of a devotee of Krishna, and therefore the versions of both Lord Krishna and Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Lord Chaitanya decided that all who are born in India seriously understand such as Krishna Kalas, and then after full realization with the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world, that will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world. 15. Mata Shishunam Nidanam Sudanam Nisamya Goram Parita Yamana Tadaru Tat Vashpa Kala Pula Shi Tam Tam Vayam Aga Kirita Mali Kritamali. Translation. Draupadi, the mother of 5 children of Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress with the eyes full of tears, trying to pacify her in her great loss. Arjuna spoke to her. 16. Tada susasta Pramurjami Patre Yat Brahma Bando Shira Atatayina Gandhiva Muktair Visikhair Upakare Svatramya Yat Snathyasi Takta Putra. Translation. O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of that Brahmana, after beheading him with the arrows from my Kandiva bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you. Then, after burning your son's bodies, you can take your bath standing on his head. Purport. An enemy who sets fire to the house, administers poison, attacks all of a sudden with a deadly weapon, plunders wealth, or strips agriculture feed, or entices one's wife is called an aggressor. Such an aggressor, though he be a Brahmana or so-called son of Brahmana, has to be punished in all circumstances. When Arjuna promised to behead the aggressor named Aswathama, he knew well that Aswathama was son of a Brahmana, but because the so-called Brahmana acted like a butcher, he was taken as such, and there was no question of sin in killing such a Brahmana's son, who proved to be villain. 17. Idi priyam valgu visitra jalpai sa santa it vasyuchuda mitra suda ana anvatruvat damsita ugradanva kabi svajavo guru putram radena. Translation. Arjuna, who is guided by the infallible Lord as a friend and driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such a statement. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with a curious weapon, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Aswatthama, the son of his material teacher. Tam apatandam sa vilakshaya stura kumara kotpigna manaradena para paratravat prana prana paripshu urviyam yavat kamam brutta bayat yadaka. Translation: Aswatthama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming at him at great speed, fled in his chariot, panic-stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. Purport: according to the reading matter, either Ka or Arka. There are two references in the Purana. Ka means Brahma, who once became allured by his daughter and began to follow her, which infuriated Shiva, who attacked Brahma with his trident. Brahmajali fled in fear of his life. As far as Arka is concerned, there is a reference in the Vamana Purana. There was a demon by the name Vityunmali who was gifted with a glowing golden airplane which traveled to the back of the sun. And night disappeared because of glowing ebullitions of this plane. Thus the sun god became angry, and with his virulent rays he melted the plane. Thus enraged the Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then attacked the sun god, who fled away and at last fell down at Kasi, Varanasi, and the place became famous as Lolarka. 19. Yada saranam atmanam aikshada shranta vajinam astram brahma sido mene atmatranam Tujatmaja. Translation: when the son of the Brahmana Sutama saw that his horses were tired, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra, nuclear weapon. Purport: in the ultimate issue only, when there is no alternative, the nuclear weapon called the Brahmastra is supplied. The word Tvijatmaja is significant here because Aswatthama, although the son of Dronacharya, was not exactly a qualified Brahmana. The most intelligent man is called a Brahmana, and it is not a hereditary title. Aswatthama was also formerly called the Brahma Bandhu, or the friend of Brahmana. Being a friend of a Brahmana does not mean that one is Brahmana by qualification. A friend or son of Brahmana, when fully qualified, can be called a Brahmana and not otherwise. Since Aswatthama's decision is immature, he is purposely called herein the son of Brahmana. 20. Ado Pashasya Salilam Sandade Tat Samahita Ajanan Abhi Samharam Prana Krichara Ubhasite. Translation: since his life was in danger, he touched the water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of the hymns for throwing nuclear weapons, although he did not know how to withdraw such a purport. The subtle form of material activities are finer than grosser methods of material manipulation. Such as subtle forms of material activities are affected through purification of sound. The same method is adopted here by sending things to act as nuclear weapons. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we can read further or stop? Hare Krishna.
We can read up to the, now we have reached
20.
one more verse, Prabhu, 21.
Okay. Tada praduskritam teja prachandam sarvadodisam prana tadam abhiprekshaya Vishnum Jishnu Uvachaha. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger, and so he began to address Lord Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji, it's enough. It is for no purpose. 21. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
One
okay,
more.
So one more, Prabhuji. Yes.
Oh,
yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Please, Prabhuji.
222. Krishna Krishna Mahabhago Bhaktanam Abhayankaram Tvam Yego Sakyayamananam Abhavarkosi Samskritaha. Translation. Arjuna said, "O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Purport. Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord Sri Krishna, as he had already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is Almighty and is especially the cause of fearlessness for their devotees. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his word, and can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna from
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, if you want to highlight anything, what you read or something you want to share, please, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you can tell Prabhuji. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we can request devotees if there's any clarification or any shloka where you would like to share something, Srila Prabhupada purport. So as we discussed last time, that till the 11th verse is the answer of the first question, which was asked in the 4th chapter of first canto. And from 12th onwards is the answer of second question, which is about the Parikshit Maharaj. So from 4th chapter, shlok, I think 11, 12, 14 onwards, and till the 11th verse of 7th chapter, first canto, is the answer of first question, which is about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, when it was written, who inspired, and how it was composed. So now this is the answer what we till the 11th verse. And 10th verse we had discussed a little bit last time. And Prabhupada gives a beautiful purport of this, and it's wonderful, very, very famous verse, Atmaram verse. And Prabhupada describes here that at the end he says, so by interpreting each and every word of this shloka, one can see unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna that attract the mind of a pure devotee. So this is very, very important. Krishna, we have to understand, so many jivas are there in the spiritual world, which is 3/4, and 1/4 is the material world. And so many jivas are there in different stages, conditioned stage, liberated stage. And Krishna is so attractive. Mad bhaktanam vinodartham karomi vividha kriya, he says in Padma Puran, that just to attract my devotees, just to give pleasure to my devotees, I perform various different pastime. I appear in different way, and I perform various pastime. Prabhupada writes here that unlimited transcendental qualities, unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities. So Krishna has a capacity that he can attract everyone in a very unique way. That is God. Brahma says in 3rd canto, yad yad dhiya sa urugaya vibhavayanti tad vapus pranayase sad anugrahaya. So yad yad dhiya, it means yad yad, in whatever way a devotee, a jiva, like to see Krishna, yad yad dhiya, whatever comes in mind, whatever they are meditating on, tad vapus, that kind of body, that kind of form Krishna accepts, is so merciful. For what purpose? Sad anugrahaya, to shower his mercy upon them, because he's very compassionate. So this is how Prabhupada says that attracts the mind of a pure devotee, especially the pure devotee, become attracted. And other people, yat shutva tat paro bhavet. Other people, just by hearing, we also develop such desire to attract him. So this is what ittam gutva guno hari. Now the 11th verse is also very beautiful verse. Harir gunan chiptamati. Harir gunan chiptamati. Chipt means like kabhi bhi bolte hain log vichipt ho gaya hai. That completely engrossed. Harir gunan chiptamati. This is Sukadeva Goswami. And Prabhupada writes in the purport very beautifully. He says, if you see the translation. So now Sri Vyasadeva was not only transcendently powerful, he was also very dear to the devotee of the Lord. Because last word comes here, Vishnu Jana Priya. Vaikuntapati Priya and Vishnu Jana Priya. So since he was Harir Gunan Chipt Mati, he became Vishnu Jana Priya. Prabhupada says, normally impersonalist is not very dear to devotee. And devotee also, they make a safe distance from the impersonalist. But the moment Sukadeva Goswami, who was impersonalist, he became attracted, ittam bhutva guno hari. And now, not only being attracted, we could see that how Srimad Bhagavatam, when he heard from his father, Vyasadeva heard from Narad Muni, he composed it, and Sukadeva Goswami heard from Vyasadeva, and he recited it. Nigam kalpator galtam phalam, shug mukhad amrita drava samritam. It became more tasty, more sweeter. And that is why when he was speaking in the assembly, even the Vyasadeva and Narad Muni, who gave the inspiration and who composed it, even they were there But even they were amazed at how Sudhir Goswami is so attracted. The way he's describing, he has so much attraction for Lord Shri Krishna. He has so much attraction for this Bhagavatam. So it is mentioned that if somebody has got attraction, then only that person can give it to others. Like Srila Prabhupada, he was so attracted. He was so attracted to Krishna. Amog Leela Prabhu says that when he read his book, for the first time he said, I could realize that this person is mad for Krishna. He is in madly love with Krishna, the way he has written the book, all book of Srila Prabhupada. So Harir Gunan Chipt Mati, his mind was completely captured by the Harir Gunan, by the qualities of Krishna. And that is why he became Vishnu Janapriya. And here Prabhupada writes a very, very important principle for all of us. Very important principle. If you see in between, from down, if you come little up in the second para, no, not second para, sorry, one, first, second, third paragraph. We start from practically he was thrown from the impersonal conception of the absolute thinking within himself that he had simply wasted so much time in devoting himself to the impersonal feature. If you go after that, so there Prabhupada writes, and from that time, not only did he himself become very dear to the Vishnu Janas or the devotee of the Lord, but also the Vishnu Janas became very dear to him. So this is what? This is the principle on which the Vaishnava relationship built up. That if a devotee becomes very dear to Krishna, if his mind is completely captured by Krishna, by taking the shelter of the holy name, that devotee becomes very dear to the other devotees. And it's vice versa. That's what is being revealed here. Till he was impersonalist, he was not very dear. But the moment Hare Guran Chipta Mati, he became so much conquered, so much captured by the gunas of Krishna, he became Vishnu Janapriya. So devotees started liking him, and he also started liking devotees. And then Prabhupada says afterwards, the devotee of the Lord who do not wish to kill the individuality of the living entities and who desire to become personal servitor of the Lord do not very much like the impersonalist. And similarly, the impersonalists who desire to become one with the Supreme are unable to evaluate the devotees of the Lord. But here we can see the change, and after this change, he became so dear to Vishnu Janapriya. And that's why Shuddha Goswami became very, very dear. Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. So this is the principle, the concept, that how, when we ask also, we see that how a devotee relationship can be built up. So what is the theme point, what is the center point? Is our sadhana. If our attraction to Krishna increases through the shelter of the holy name, the hearing, or attraction towards Bhagavatam, then because of that, we'll become dear to devotees. And devotee will also become dear to us. So that's the whole point Prabhupada is bringing in this purport, beautiful purport. Very, very important principle. And we can see our sixth Goswamis, they were not much in the preaching, but their behavior, Krishna ta kirtan nanga kirtan paro, dhira dhira jano priya priya karo, Shri Chaitanya kripa bharo bhuvi bhuvo, bhara bhantarako, vande rupa sanatana bhuvigo Shivji gopalako. Dhira adhira, everyone, the devotees, non-devotees, dhira adhira, everyone used to love them actually. Because they were so much engrossed in their the shelter of the holy name, the Bhagavatam. So that is the central point, central pivot for having a very sustainable and very fixed, very strong relationship with devotees. Because in devotees, we see relationship like in the karmi's life or the social custom. Definitely that's also important. But more than that, how much attraction we are developing towards Krishna. Because of that, only devotee will like us and will become dear to them. That's the point there. So So till here, it was the answer of the first question. And from 12th onwards, the question of second question, answer of second question is given here now, which is about the Parikshit Maharaj. But in order to describe the Parikshit Maharaj pastime, it means his appearance, his activities. First, what he's describing all the background, actually, all the background and all the events which led to the appearance of Parikshit Maharaj and activities. And that's why it will go longer, actually. This section will go up to the 11th chapter, And after 11th chapter, which is the Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarika, it means now Kunti Mahani prayer will come, Bhishma Pitama, and then Krishna will depart from Hastinapur to Dwarika. He'll be welcomed there. And then it became 3-4 chapters, quite long discussion. And then again, Shaunak Adi Rishi, they reminded to Sud Goswami that we had requested you to hear about the Parikshit Maharaj. So can you please now narrate the Parikshit Maharaj pastime? So again, he comes back. Then the 12th chapter, the birth of Emperor Parikshit, will be described. So, but this all will lead to that particular incident, actually. And one Maharaj says, now Krishna is going to appear in the scene in Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Krishna appearance in the Srimad Bhagavatam is like sometimes we see the movie. In the movie, in the beginning only, the hero appears in the chariot and, in the very heroic way. Similarly, here also Krishna's appearance in Srimad Bhagavatam is in a very heroic way. He will come and he's with the Arjuna and they're going to just catch the Aswathama. So that scene will come here now after some time. And we know this story that how this in Bhagavatam, this after almost the war was over and then Aswathama, he killed all the 5 sons of Draupadi. So that scene is going to start from 12 to 16 verse, which is about the lamentations for the Pandavas' sons. And here also, yeah. So in the 12th verse, Prabhupada writes a very beautiful purport. Also now it's a storyline. From 12th verse onwards, we will see up to the 34th sloka, especially. We'll see it's mostly the storylines going on. But in between 22 to 26 verses is the prayers of Arjuna, which he will render to Krishna. Because now Arjuna is a different Arjuna. Arjuna before the war and after the war. Now he had heard Bhagavad Gita, and that is why his behavior, his conduct is completely different. That we will see in the later on verses. So in the 13th verse, Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport. Very beautiful purport. What he says, Prabhupada says here, in the purport, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone means all of us, who disclaim or who say that, okay, we belong to just Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, this ISKCON movement. Prabhupada Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kathas by his order. And what is this? Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. It means this true scripture, definitely we have to take complete shelter. And somehow or other we have to Nityam Bhagavad Sevya. Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam we have to read consistently several times. And then he says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired that all who are born in India seriously understand, this is the last line of the purport. Such Krishna Kathas, the plural, it means Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And then after full realization, preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world. Prabhupada's instructions. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world. This is a very, very profound statement by Srila Prabhupada and the direct instruction to all of us. That first we have to take shelter of Krishna Kathas through Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada says, after full realization. Oh, that's a very, very important statement. Preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted this. Prabhupada says in the purport itself, the Gita is Krishna Katha or topics of Krishna because it's spoken by Lord, and the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha because it's spoken about the Lord. And both the scripture has to be worshipped, has to be taken shelter. So this is the whole purport of Srila Prabhupada in this 13th one. And like then we can see 15, there's no purport. But then now there's a storyline going on. 15, 16, there's a storyline. And then one purport Prabhupada talks about the like Keshava. So in Keshava, Ka means Brahma, Sha Shiva, and who delivers him in both and who can bewilder both, he's a Keshava. So here Ka is given, and Prabhupada writes about some story from the Vaman Puran about that how this Brahmaji and Shivji, just to define the word Ka actually. And then we came to the 19th verse where again the storyline. And Prabhupada talks about it was a nuclear weapon. Prabhupada says this is called the Brahmastra, the nuclear weapon, just so that people can understand what is all about. And then Prabhupada says here, the most intelligent man is called a Brahmana, and it is not a hereditary title. Ashwatthama was also formerly called the Brahma Bandhu, or the friend of a Brahmana. Being a friend of a Brahmana does not mean that one is Brahmana by qualification. A friend or so on, or a son of a Brahmana, when fully qualified, can be called a Brahmana and not otherwise. So although he was a son of Brahmana, but he was a Brahmana Bandhu because he was not having the qualities of Brahmana. As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, this is Guna Karma Vibhagasaha, based on the qualities and activities. Okay. And Prabhupada in this 20th, see, Prabhupada did not miss a single opportunity. Although we are going through the storyline, in the 20th verse, very small purport, Prabhupada talks about the chanting. He says, such subtle forms of material activities are effected through purification of sound. The same method is adopted here by chanting hymns to act as a nuclear weapons. So they were chanting the mantras, and mantra is so powerful. Similarly, Maha Mantra is very, very powerful. One time, one person was asking to one Maharaj that, Maharaj, this is just a word. You are saying this is by chanting, there will be transformation. But this is just a syllable. This is the Hare Krishna. So how the word will be so effective? And it was in a big gathering actually. And then that Maharaj said, shut up and sit down. And he was a little grave actually. So that person, he sat down. And after 2-3 minutes, he said, can you please stand up? And then he got up. And everybody was amazed that how Maharaj shouted on him. And then Maharaj said, everyone, just look at his face. And his face was completely, he turned to red. Because he says, imagine in front of everyone, Maharaj, he just asked a question and Maharaj shouted on him. And he was feeling quite embarrassed. Then Maharaj said, you see, his face turned to red. And his emotions now, what is going on in him, is completely changed. He said, what I did not touch him. I just used few words, syllable, in a different tone. That's all. Just I said, shut up and sit down. And that 2 words made, 2 statements made so much difference in your complete personality now. You see, your face is red and your thought process is completely changed now. So what do you think? If such a materialistic word, just the material letters which are used in different tone have such an impact on you, don't you think that this word, Goloka Premadhan, which has come from a spiritual word, if you recite with that humble mood and that emotions, don't you think that will have impact? And then this guy was completely convinced. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. So these mantras is very, very powerful. And we have seen the power of mantra. Similarly, we have been given this Maha Mantra, which is meant to develop love for Godhead. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has invested all his power. Nija Sarva Shakti. Nam Agari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shakti. It means whatever Shakti Krishna as a person is having, all the potencies Krishna has invested in the name. Only thing, when we look at Krishna, we believe that, oh, Krishna is there. But when we chant, we don't believe that Krishna with all the potency is there in the name. So Krishna is sitting in his name with all his potency. Nija Sarva Shakti. Whatever Krishna can do as a person, the Krishna's name can do the same thing. Because Nam Navino Abhinnatva. There's no difference. And then the 21 and 22, again, the 21 verse is about the glaring light of that Brahmastra. And then Arjuna Vacha. Now Arjuna started speaking. Arjuna prayer started from the verse number 22. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho. Such type of verse will come in Srimad Bhagavatam several times. Pahi Pahi Mam. The Uttara will pray like this. And then Brajvasi will pray like this. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho. Bhaktanam Abhyankara. So here Arjuna is saying, oh my Lord, you are almighty personality of Godhead. There's no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the heart of your devotees. Only you, he says, are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Yad bhiveti swayam bhayam. You see, Krishna can instill the fearlessness. Similarly, the Krishna's name also, because Krishna's name is so powerful. Apanna sanstim ghoran ya nama vishogran. 1:14. Srimad Bhagavatam says that if somebody takes the name of Krishna in any difficulty, any situation, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Chutva, even while sneezing also, is so powerful that the fear personified get fear from the name of the Krishna. So what to speak of Krishna? Just by name of Krishna. So same potency. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord Shri Krishna. Because now, Param Brahma Param Dham, that episode is over now. He has seen Krishna. He has seen Krishna's transcendental qualities. And now he completely convinced that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's heard the knowledge from him. His illusion is completely gone. That's why now we'll see in this episode, the Arjuna's reactions, his behavior is completely changed after hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we'll stop here from my end. And I request devotees like to share something or any other discussion, any clarification. Please, Prabhuji, Mataji. One more thing I forgot to mention. Last verse, 22 verse, last line, Prabhupada, wonderful purport. He says, the spiritual master by his words can penetrate into the heart of suffering persons and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. Guru Mukh Padma Vakya Chitete Karyakya. So that verse can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person, the spiritual master's words. Prabhupada to glorify here the importance of spiritual master in this verse. He's saying the spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. Sansara dava analidiloka tanaya karun ghana ghanatvam. Receives the rains of mercy of the Lord. Yes, Mataji, please.
Yeah. Prabhuji, we're talking about the 20th verse. And it is said that there is a difference between Astra and Shastra. Shastra is generally a weapon, but a weapon becomes a astra when it is invoked with certain mantras. So be the Brahmastra or Pashupatastra, whatever be it, when it is invoked with, when a Shastra is invoked with a mantra, it becomes a Astra. And you were nicely explaining about Govinda Nama Mahima. And in a very lighter sense, I've heard from many of the pravachaks that Draupadi just called the Govinda Nama and she was saved. Like just a shower of, the sari was given to her. But when Govinda was near, he used to just rob away the garments of the Gopika Stris. So Govinda Nama is more powerful than Govinda. And the last one that you had mentioned in the purport of 22nd verse. Yes, Prabhuji, it is said that it is always better to, follow the words of Krishna than to follow his actions. Because Krishna steals butter, he speaks lies. But when we follow his words that is given Gitopadesh or whatever it is, yeah, we are benefited. So just wanted to share few points, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing these wonderful points. Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranams to you and all assembled devotees. Prabhuji, thank you for explaining nicely, Prabhuji, time and again. Prabhuji, my question is, Subhadeva Goswami, while he was in the womb of his mother, Vyasadeva had given him Bhagavatam, right? So despite that, why was he initially attracted to impersonal self?
So that's the question, Mataji. So we have to understand these personalities, as we discussed before also, that personalities, all the actions are as per the will of the Lord. They're all the activities. You see, he came out on the assurance of Krishna that I will not touch you, right? So here to glorify this transformation, to demonstrate that how even the Atmaram can be attracted towards the glories of Krishna. So he is glorifying Krishna or Krishna Katha by his conduct, by his behavior. If remember, we discussed this point, even how Lord Shiva, when the Bhrigu Muni came and when he wanted to test that who is God, and so he could have controlled the anger, but to give that, to glorify Krishna through his action, he did that. Now he is demonstrating that what was he and what he became, so that everybody can glorify Bhagavatam. The God is so attractive.
Okay.
So these people, they become an instrument in demonstrating or establishing these principles, that how Krishna's pastime, Krishna's glories are superior, supermost, and even the Atma Ram, now in this case especially, even such person can be attracted. To establish such principle, Krishna used Shukdev Goswami. We know that Shukdev Goswami is nothing but what? He is a Shuk Leela, Leela Shuk. He is the parrot of Radharani. So definitely there's no question of impersonalism. But now he is in such a way to demonstrate.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, and one more thing.
The shloka which we read today, the amazing shloka, very nice word Sutta used here. Is the Adher Guran Chipta. That how a person, even who is, Prabhupada says in the previous verse, we read that the Srimad Bhagavatam is postgraduate studies even for the impersonalist, even for the Atmaram. Even Atmaram, see, impersonalist also, impersonalist is different category. In impersonalism or in impersonalist, the Atmaram is the highest category. Very few
Okay.
people reach to those category, like Goswami, Chatus Kumar. Even for those people, Srimad Bhagavatam, the quality of Krishna, the Katha of Krishna, is the postgraduate study. That's what Prabhupada writes actually. Harir Guna Chipta Mati, he became so attractive. His mind was completely captured. So that's a beautiful point he's demonstrating through his example.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, further to this, like my thought process was Atma Rama means self-satisfied, right? In general, we say. But a person, I was under the impression like a person is self-satisfied when he knows that his self, which means is a soul, and he needs to serve the Supreme Lord. And that is how, when the Lord is satisfied, he attains the self-satisfaction. He comes to the mode of self-satisfaction. But then how could an impersonalist attain an Atmarama stage? What is that he is having? What is pleasure he is taking in self without engaging in devotional service? What could be his pleasure giving factor?
So that factor, Mataji, it is mentioned in Prabhupada because that cannot sustain for a long time. That is definitely
Yes.
is there because what happens? This person comes away from the matter completely. Now he has realized the self, and he understands that all the anand that so he does not hanker outside. And Prahlad Maharaj say that what is the shloka in 7th canto? He said, the moment a person completely detach everything from this material world, yata arhit kamyan upayunjitah bhagvat uttai kalpate, then the same time he gets all the opulence of Krishna. It means that kind of anand, the way Krishna is enjoying. The moment the person, he leaves that idea of enjoying in this material world,
Okay.
same time he get all the opulence of Krishna. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam 7th shloka.
Okay.
So what happens? These people, they get it, but they cannot sustain for a long time. Because as you mentioned correctly, because soul by nature is very active. The constitutional position of soul is to serve. Without serving, soul cannot be satisfied for a long time. That's why the shloka comes, if you remember the shloka, 7th chapter at the beginning, the shloka, Yam adir bhi yog patay kam lobh hato muhu mukund sevya tadva tatha atmadhanasha. I think this is shlok sankhya. It was in 5th chapter. If you remember the 5th chapter, shloka was there. Atmadhana Shamati. 6th chapter. So that shloka says, by all the process, even we can calm a lobe, that lust, anger, you can get rid of. But Mukund Sevya, until and unless the soul becomes engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna, Atmadhana Shamati, the soul cannot be satisfied for a long time. And that's Rupa Goswami Pad writes a very beautiful purport, beautiful verse in Nectar of Devotion. He says, Brahmanand bhaved esha chet parad kuto api naiti bhakti sakham bodhe naiti bhakti sukham bodhe parmanu tulyam api. He says, Brahmanand bhaved esha. If somebody is that Brahma Ananda, Atmaram, so that Anand is definitely from, compared to this material world, that Anand is like an Anand of ocean. But that Ananda, Naiti Bhakti Sukham Bhode. In comparison to the Anand of Bhakti, of serving Krishna, Parmanu, that is a drop of ocean.
Wow.
That's the ocean Rupa Goswami says. And Prabhupada writes in the purport actually. So that's how comparison is given. Although Anand is, Atmaram also derived the Ananda, but they cannot sustain there for a long time. And that's why if they are really fortunate, they come in contact with Krishna or the paraphernalia, like he came last time, Chatuskumar, they came with that lotus tulsi leaf from Krishna, which is the paraphernalia, and they became happy. But hardly hear any pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam or in literature where who is deriving the bhakti Anand, and they became to Brahmananda. So we have never seen such pastime.
Yeah. Very nice.
So,
Prabhuji. Now,
so Anand is there, Mataji, but that Anand is compared to Bhakti Anand is very, very tiny.
drop.
And Jiva looking for Satchid Ananda. So until unless we become in our consciousness position, which is the and understand, you see 10 to 32 verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 10 to 32. So they think that they are vimukta, they are completely liberated. But Prabhupada says, Sudha Goswami says that Tvaya Bhava Asta, Tvaya Asta Bhavad Avishuddha Buddhaya. Their intelligence is completely contaminated because they have rejected. What is that rejected? Anadrit Yushmad Angraya. They have disrespected the lotus feet of Krishna. That is why they trained that for a long time.
Yeah. It's like an offense because they're denying the
It's all.
personality of the Lord when it is existing actually. Okay.
Param Padam Tato Adho Tanti Adho Anadrit Yushmad Angre. So they will fall. They will definitely fall. Param Pada. Even at the Atmaram stage, Param Pada, but they will fall now.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Now this verse, 10th verse, Atma Ram Vastoneya, that verse is giving more meaning, Prabhuji, to me because there it
Yes,
says, I took him Bhaktim to the Lord, Nittam Buddha
yes.
Gunohari. We are able to enjoy now the wonderful qualities of the Lord because we know the real purport of Atma Rama, the continued satisfaction which we get by serving the Lord. The two, Ahaituki, unalloyed. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams.
Asiman Krishna Prabhuji, like to share something?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Ji Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji. You nicely shared many points and enlightened us. Only one point, Prabhuji, I want to just share. In sloka number 11, Prabhupada was writing, this transcendental quality of lords are so attractive that Srila Sukadeva Goswami became detached from being completely absorbed in impersonal Brahman and positively took up the personal activity of the Lord. What I want to tell you, I was reading one more somewhere, Srila Prabhupada was writing, like other transcendentalists are there, like impersonalists, Dhyana yogis, all other transcendentalists. Until they taking shelter